Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you're all having a good Wednesday. Thank you guys for being here today for another installment of Deplorable Discussions. You guys know the drill. Jump into chat wherever you're watching. We'll do our little pre-show roll call, and we'll get this party officially started in about 5 minutes at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We've got a good one for you today. We've got Graham Moore, Daddy Dragon, joining the show from across the pond over in England. Looking forward to seeing what he's got going on and catching up with the OG crew as well. I see Salbor, Lucy Anders, Qoys, and Truth Teller 101 all hanging out on D Live. Welcome, you guys. Happy Wednesday. Shout out to all of you watching on Rumble as well. Hit that thumbs up button for us if you haven't already done so. I see Wheelnut checking in from England. Shout out to all of our friends from across the pond today. I know we've got lots of you guys tuning in to see our brother Graham, Daddy Dragon, popping by. But good to see you, Wheelnut. Liberty's Great Awakening out there. Joe Elaine keeping the chat super comfy. Thank you, Joe. PNW Sasquatch in the house. We got D. Ann. We got Milking It Jenkins, Jingle Blue, Middlesex Man, and Deplorable Casanova all hanging out over on Rumble. Has 19 and Karmic Energy as well popping in over on Rumble. Welcome all you guys. Dave Covey checking in from England. John Aspinwall, good to see you. Guys, please do me a favor. Share the link. And if you're new, if you're popping in to see Daddy Dragon hang out with the panel, make sure you take note of that pilled.net link underneath the live stream. We will be going exclusively there for the second half of the show. So you'll have to jump over from Rumble to pilled.net to watch hour number 2. So I just want to point that out to you guys now, and I will again throughout the course of the first hour, but just wanted to make sure you guys knew it was there. Sue Lynn over there, Robin Sherwood. We got J Moon Shadow, RV37, Bandit 600, Archer's Knot. Welcome all you guys. Eddie Joe, good to see you. And Coffin Dodger 1. Welcome. All right, let's see who we got hanging out in the comfy bunker today. Scrolling up to the tippy top over on pilled.net. We've got Floyd Due Diligence, Lightspear, Lance, HL Paco in the house, D Richard stopping by as well. Good to see you. Delia in the house as well. Good to see you. Delia, Joe Lane modding the chat, doing all the hard work. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you so much. Esther G13, thank you for the cookie. Says, I won't be able to catch the live today. Yesterday's podcast was fire. Thank you. Thank you, Esther. I don't know if you're still watching or if you've already had to run, but when you catch us on replay, thank you so much. And I hope you have an awesome day. Floyd with a Wagyu Wednesday cookie. Thank you so much, Floyd. Appreciate you very, very much. Patriot 714, good to see you. Truth Teller 101, great to see you. Pip's mom checking in from Wales, UK. Good to see you, Pip. General Buford in the house. What's up, Buford? We got Barb Robbins, R. Harold, Space Cookie, Fazik, Snow Bunny 68. Good to see you all. Awake Russell, welcome. Good to see you, Russell. And H Be Thy Name in the house as well. Jenna Seppi, what's up, Jen? How you doing? We got Strange Paranormal stopping by. Good to see you. And Jenker 2. What's up, Jenker? My brother Kaiman, Molan Labe, popping by. Checking in from South Africa. Very cool. We got Facts Not Fear. Lyle and Jenny, Packers 412. Curious One. Great to see you guys out there. Hope you're having an awesome day. We got Norm, Hang 10 Alien Surfer stopping by. We got Zerame and Range Pony. What's up, guys? Good to see you out there. Christopoo 10. What's up, Christopoo? And scrolling Ken Chris, the diligent out there as well. Welcome both you guys. Good afternoon, Mr. Gerardo. Hope you're doing well. We got Shovelhead and Roy Stones and Bones. What's up, Roy? Checking in from the West Coast. Good to see you. Just Wondering, and Deanne, John G 1943, Green Banker, Change My Picture, Neil 56, Wheel Nut, Nosy Poke, Ray Woods, Steve Lomas, Gooner Mom, Timbuktu. Hey, there's Daddy Dragon in the chat. King of Kings out there as well. We got Sash Manny's, Mick Rum, Chuck Money, Adam He, Sue Lynn, Andy 937 AD, English Hawk, Robin Sherwood, John 19 or 7, or excuse me, John's 9700. I don't know why that was so hard for me. Jingle Blue out there as well. J Moon Shadow, Eddie Joe 23. Wow, lots of Daddy Dragon fans popping in, tons of new names over on Rumble. Daddy Dragon brings the love. Holy smokes, good to see you all out there checking in on Rumble. Again, please find that link underneath the stream in the description. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. At the 5 o'clock hour, we have we go exclusively to pilled.net for the second half of this show. So make sure that you get yourself situated over there so you can watch hour number 2. And thank you guys again for tuning in from across the pond. I really appreciate it. It's 4 o'clock. It's top of the hour. That means it's time to get this show officially underway. We'll be right back in just a few minutes, everybody.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. Be addicted, the MS7, now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all, I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall, we're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong and stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production, Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the deep state to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adult Hero is the power that's controlling the flight. With all the patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may even find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they can find. They're just slaves in the system to the roles they're assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight. But I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sites? These people hate America, punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative they're feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, replacing with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only sending vibes to start raising our boots. These demons all weaponized. Now we're raising our troops. Now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life it's a game of chess. They want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful. Then you're gone. But not us. We're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right, knowing they're wrong. Adult Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adult Nero.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It is great to be back with you guys for another installment of Deplorable Discussions. My name is Adult Nero. It is April 3rd, 2024, and riding shotgun with me right now is my very good friend, Graham Moore. You guys might know him as Daddy Dragon, checking in from across the pond in England. What's up, Graham? How you been, man?
I've been doing very well. alive and kicking, and I'm sure they don't like it. But I've just been banned on Twitter.
You got banned on Twitter?
Yeah, again. So it's the second time in a month. They obviously don't like my message, and I can see as my audience is growing, and I'm live, especially every night on there, they don't like it. So I got banned for 7 days this time. I've appealed, of course, but we'll see what happens.
What did you get banned for? What did they tell you? Like what it was that you said?
Well, there was a guy called Maya Tulsi who is British Iranian, um, and he was basically putting all these tweets out. He's got quite a large following, putting all these tweets out about Israel attacking two nation states, basically Syria and Iran, at the same time. Um, and he was saying all these really nasty things about the people who died. I don't. My point was anyway. Basically, all these nasty tweets, all these nasty memes, and I said to him, "You are nothing but a British Jesuit bleep," right? And then basically said, "When the bombs start landing on London, I hope you're underground," or words to that effect, right? And I was trying to say in a not so polite way, we was bombed before in London and the Blitz, and everyone went to the underground, right? And they banned me. So
That's nuts. You see so much worse than that on the platform with no punitive action. And you said that's the second time you've been banned in the last month?
Yeah.
What else got you in trouble?
Oh, the other one was another Brit, a guy called what's his name? Nick. Someone in the chat will help me out. Nick. He's easily forgettable. The person he used to run the not the National Front, the British National Party, right?
Yeah.
Nick Griffin, right? And he started saying about "come on, Lions" and all that. And I said, let me tell you something. It's the English that are the lions. The British are pussies, right? Word to that effect. And I sent that back to him and I got banned. And I know because Twitter said to me that the account owner has done it, right? So, cut a long story short, I went back to him and I said, "You do understand the conversation?" And the conversation was about Brits and English. The British are the lions, and you can see that on all our badges and our things, right?
Yeah.
And sorry, the English are the lions and the British are nothing. They're just an invention out of thin air, like the USSR. And then I said, "You do understand that pussies also means pussycat in relation to lion, right?"
Yeah.
And then I said, "For example, there is a bit of a language problem between the United States of America and English." I said, "Because if I call you a fag, right, I'm referencing you being a cigarette, or when I talk about fags, I talk about cigarettes. When you talk
Right.
about fags, it means something else, right?" And then they said, basically, they come back and said, "You've won your appeal." Let me back on it.
All right. See, at least you won that appeal. Normally, like when they make a decision, they don't typically overturn those things. So that's pretty interesting. But so you're out, you're banned for 7 days on Twitter.
Yeah.
But they still obviously let you access your DMs because we were able to go back and forth with what they're today.
So that's the strange thing. Unlike other platforms, I can still access my direct messaging. But when people start to rely on the platform for messaging and they say it's encrypted and they say this, at the end of the day, they're taking your communication away. That's why I don't like it. And I don't like for that. They're saying that their algorithms pick up some of these things. That's rubbish. Because both of the bans that I got, one was by Mayor Tulsi himself, and the other was by Nick Griffin himself, because it tells you that the account owner has flagged it and reported my thing. So that's when you got to understand that they're saying they're all about free speech as long as you're not saying something they don't like.
Yeah, obviously. Well, glad you're here, Daddy Dragon. Looking forward to hearing all about everything you got going on. And we should have Should have a fun conversation there. Actually, I have something I want to play for you after we come back after sponsors. Something I saw on a English news channel that was really concerning, and I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about when we bring it up here in a little bit. But first, let's go around the horn and welcome in the rest of the OG crew here. Tennessee Homesteader popping in. Tennessee, happy Wednesday afternoon, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, it's hump day. Hey, Daddy, how are you? Cheers, bud. Nope, it's a good day. It's a
Good.
lovely day. Had a spirited discussion with some of my crew this morning.
Oh yeah.
Very. Oh yeah,
Got
yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
donut shop and
Yep. As
awesome.
a matter of fact, there was all kinds of ears and eyes looking at what we were doing because we were really having both intermixing scripture with what was going on and stuff like that. But there were very, very attentive people listening to us. Which
All
was
right, you guys are getting an audience. Before you know it, they're gonna have to like set up the coffee shop in a way where you guys are sitting up in like a panel
yeah.
taking questions
You
from the
guys can
audience.
be an like the View, but like for normal people.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
like
Now we already have our stamps dish, which is kind of funny because it's a table. There's 6 of us. Whenever we arrive, whoever sits at that table vacates. We don't even have to ask anything. They know.
that's pretty funny.
It
Pretty
is.
funny. You like the whole Turning Point USA thing. Like if you disagree with me, you come to the front of the line and ask
Yeah, exactly. Prove me wrong. But no, it was good.
Good, good. Well, I'm glad you're here. It's going to be a fun show. I've got some really good video clips. There's a lot of little things popping around Twitter today that I'm looking forward to sharing and getting reaction and having some discussion around. Speaking of which, we got Drunk Pinata also hanging out with us. Pinata, happy Wednesday, buddy. How are you today?
Oh, I'm just tired from watching the mainstream news media keep beating dead horses. So the newest one, outside of the, because the previous one was the 14th Amendment, Section 3, which obviously does not apply to the president if you actually read the thing.
Mhm.
And of course, what do they do with the Presidential Records Act? Well, if you actually read it, it should have been absolutely incorporated into. It should have prevented any charging in Trump, obviously. And so now they're having to come to terms with that because Judge Eileen Cannon, the case in Florida, is saying, yeah, why aren't we looking at that? And now Jack Smith is like, well, now they're injecting this, and he waited a year before after leaving office to bring that defense. You mean when it became a story because he returned the box of Sonara that you asked him to, then they said that was a problem, and then he said, "What's the Presidential Records Act?" Oh my gosh, and so according to Jack Smith, he should have been out in the streets. With the spatula and a pot and a pan, pot and pan, just banging it every day. I have the Presidential Records Act. I have the Presidential Records Act. And then that would have satisfied Jack Smith, according to. But coming to, and up with the defense of why you did what you did after it became a problem, what they said that you did something. Okay. Anyway, so
Why would Trump say anything before there was a problem?
That's the point. Is that
Right?
they are getting extremely desperate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm all here for it. And so when Eileen Cannon, I think what she's going to do is allow this to go to trial, and when it does, she's going to dismiss it based on that. And then once that happens, once it's in trial, the government can't charge him again because it's double jeopardy. And so once it's dismissed, so they're telling us what they're scared of. They're freaked out about that, and they're freaked out about the Presidential Records Act being introduced. Those 2 things alone, we already know kill the case. There's also like 10 other things that kill this case anyway, but executive privilege, even that one alone.
Well, the previous Supreme Court case too.
Yeah, other cases. Yeah, there's like I said, there's like at least 10 different reasons why it should never even been brought in the first place and why it didn't even need to get there. But so that's been fun to watch them kind of try to weasel out their way out of that one again, because it's plain as day. You go to the Presidential Records Act, you go to the text, you read it, and without emotion and just use logic, you understand what's going on.
So the question is going to be who introduces that in the courtroom?
They already did.
Well,
the Trump's lawyers did.
And I know, but who's going to read it? I'm talking about introducing. Oh. They introduce it as evidence, but who's going to present it to the jury?
Well, Jack won't.
No, exactly. So it's going to be Trump's attorneys or the court. Because in order for the court to admit it into evidence, it's got to be presented to the jury, or it's going to have to be given to the jury to read.
Yeah.
And like judges' instructions at the court, right? That they give instructions to the jury when they go to deliberation.
Well, that's what they were in the middle of doing right now, Tian. So today was, I think, was the day to file, or maybe it's tomorrow, or maybe it was yesterday, one of the days.
Can it be brought in under amicuri, where someone brings it as a public interest?
No.
Well, that was easy.
Not when it's not when it's in trial. Then it's the aspect of evidence. Now there could be a petition to the court, but I don't know. That would be kind of interesting. A petition to the court to have the Presidential Records Act read and explained to the jury. That could be something that could be. I don't know about it being done as a friend of the court, if you will, right?
Well, I believe that's what Cannon was asking for both sides to present what they would have for jury instructions for two different scenarios, both of which are extremely favorable to Trump, because that's it. There's a reason why, because he didn't do anything wrong, and that's what it's supposed to be.
And I think what happened here is, and my final comment so that I'll come to the sponsors. They kind of screwed themselves, because in the way we mentioned this before, what her excused Biden is what Smith is charging Trump.
Actually,
Federal
no.
903, right? 913 rather, 913. So that's part of the interesting thing, and then Trump has covered with the Records Act. But it'll be interesting. I'd love to see Cannon just have it introduced and have both of them explain to the jury how it applies or does not apply to Trump.
Yeah, I would love to see that too. Yeah, I think that one's going to blow up relatively easily.
I think it's just a race between it going to trial and being dismissed, or being found not guilty, versus the presidential immunity at that speed. So,
is this why you're seeing the case, Bragg's case, take the limelight now?
Yep.
Definitely.
And now they have a choice with that judge. Last thing, Adel, quickly. They have a choice right now. He recuses himself now that all the stuff's come to light, and that they can get another judge in and they can continue faster, or they can not recuse himself, and then they're going to appeal his denial, and then that will delay it too. So they have a choice.
Yeah, they're being masterfully maneuvered into no-win situations every which way they turn. It's pretty fun to watch, actually. And all the while, the persecution of Donald Trump only helps his re-election or his election hopes. So they keep shooting themselves in the foot, but they don't know how to stop, because they've put themselves in such an impossible position. And like Pinata said, we're here for it. We are here for it. All right, we got some sponsors, amazing sponsors on this broadcast today. Earth Garden Botanicals is our first one. They're a sponsor pretty much every day, and they're wonderful partners. Jolene up in Montana. She's an herbalist and a health coach. She runs this company. She's the one that creates these brilliant concoctions, these wellness products like the white pine needle extract, the latest in the catalog of products here. The white pine needle extract is great for detoxing the body. It's basically a concentrate version of the sunshine and pine needle tea, which I know many of you have really grown to love. Amazing CBD and hemp products as well. Check out the CBD oil tinctures. All the ingredients for the CBD is locally and organically grown, creating a pure, potent, really great product at a great price. The flavors are amazing. Flavors like orange ginger bergamot, huckleberry, cherry, cinnamon bliss, peppermint. Even the unflavored is very tasty. There's a little something there for everybody. CBD oil for pets works wonderfully. You have the R&R Delta 8 nighttime gummies for a good night's sleep. Check out the topical cream, the Arnica salve for your sore joints and muscles. You can get that with or without CBD infused. And then there's some other stuff too, like the fire cider, really good for clearing your sinuses. If allergies got you stuffed up, making it hard to breathe, take a few sips of fire cider and it could offer some very quick relief Elderberry tonic is really good for boosting your immune system. I mentioned the sunshine and pine needle tea. There's a few other tea blends that you could check out if you're a tea drinker. I highly recommend you do. And of course, the critter juice as well, the all-natural insect repellent, keeping the mosquitoes and bugs away. During the summer, the stuff is amazing. It works beautifully. It smells good. It doesn't feel oily and gross on your skin after you apply it. I can't recommend it enough. It's been an absolute game changer for me. I get destroyed by mosquitoes in the summer, but not anymore because of this amazing product. EarthGardenBotanicals.com, promo code 412 gets you 10% off your order. So go check it out, load up your cart, say hi to Jolene for us, and yeah, there you go. Our other sponsor, technically they don't have an ad today, but our numbers were super low yesterday, so I just want to give a shout out to Diamond Soap Co. DiamondSoapCo.com. They make soaps and body butters handmade here in the United States, also using all organic and all natural ingredients. They smell amazing. Scents like bonfire, Kentucky bourbon, cedar amber, island escape, green tea cucumber, frankincense and myrrh. You got plumeria, lavender, rose. Something again for everybody. I can't recommend this stuff enough. I love the soaps. I love the body butters. You can get yourself a t-shirt as well. Men and women's t-shirts. They got a hoodie that you could buy if you want to rep the brand. And it's a great way to support the parallel economy instead of buying soap mindlessly from Procter and Gamble or Johnson & Johnson. Go to diamondsoapco.com and support an America First mom and pop shop using promo code 412 for 17% off your order. So amazing sponsors today. We really appreciate both of them. And I appreciate all you guys out there who continue to support our sponsors and this broadcast. Guys, if you haven't already hit that red pill button for us, please do that. Also, repost the show, share the link wherever you're watching. If you're watching on Rumble, make sure you hit that thumbs up button over there. I know we have a lot of new viewers brought in from our guest today, Daddy Dragon. So if you're over there and you're new to the channel, please give us a follow over there. And also, I want to point your attention to the link in the video description beneath the Rumble stream to our platform, pilled.net. I'm putting that link in the live chat for you guys as well. That link is where you watch the second hour of today's show. We'll go until about 5 till 5 Eastern time. So it's almost to the top of this hour on all of our platforms. At the halfway point of the show, we turn off all the platforms except for pilled.net. And we do the second half exclusively over there. So make sure you grab that link, get on over there and get yourself comfortable and be ready to join us for the second half of today's broadcast. All right, I want to start with this today. This popped up on my Twitter feed as if the world knew I was going to have Daddy Dragon joining the show. This is crazy. Graham, take a listen to this. I'd love to get your reaction. Talking about removing people from their homes to fit the migrants that are coming into the UK.
Suzanne, where are we going to put these people? The uncomfortable truth, as far as I can see it, is that we are going to have tent cities of asylum seekers popping up around the UK.
Well, I think you summed it up beautifully, Patrick, just the huge pressure that we're seeing now in accommodation, and that does seem to be the only answer. But I'm actually a little bit more worried than that, because I think this is all getting very sinister now. We know that we've had people who have been told that their properties are going to be compulsory purchased for asylum seekers. That pretty much tears up private property rights in this country. I was listening to the radio on the way here, and they were talking about a massive problem facing Britain, which was older people living in houses that were, quote, too big for them. Who's got a right to tell you your house is too big for you? You should be allowed to live where you darn well like. And the implication was very clear. These elderly people are taking houses that they shouldn't have. And I fear that's a worry, that there'll be some kind of move to get them out of those houses. We've also had the horrible scenario last week when Matthew Paris, writing in the Times, talked about how euthanasia wouldn't be a bad thing if it encouraged elderly people to hasten their own deaths. So what? We've got to pop our clogs, have we, forcibly, when we're 60, 70, 80, 90, perhaps earlier, if we're not productive people in society, as Matthew Paris said it. So I think the whole thing now is getting really, really sinister and scary.
Well, King Chuck's in real deep shit then. He's the oldest one in the biggest house.
Yeah, right. That's a good point, Tian. That's insane. Graham, your reaction to this, going around and determining if the elderly live in homes too big for them, to remove them for the migrants that they're allowing to storm across into the UK, talking about kicking or compulsory purchasing of people's house, forcing people to sell their house so they could be used as housing for migrants. It's scary stuff. What do you know about this?
Well, this is the problem under the World Economic Forum, yeah? You shall own nothing and be happy. So she's made a number of, that was my terrible German Mickey Mouse Soviet voice combined, by the way, because the WEF is communist, not Nazi. But she made a few key points there. And one of them was she talked about property rights. Property rights were destroyed in this country in 1998. Who put that through? Blairites. What did they do? It was called the Lease Act. And the Lease Act said, even if you own a property, you don't own it, and we can take it off you anytime you want. And if you lease a property to someone, right, this is the way they always nick a bit, but never tell you what they're actually nicking it for, right? A bit like when they start on your ammunition and say a piece of ammunition is no longer allowed, that's actually starting to take away your firearms, because that's how they did it here in 1921. So the main thing to remember is the property rights with the Lease Act went out of the window in 1998, and people need to understand what they're doing in the background. So what's my reaction to that? I keep telling people we are living under a Soviet regime, that any form of political centralized union, Americans know it as the feds, right? Or the federal government. Once you allow that to take hold, you lose all your independent states' rights and your individual rights as a person. And that is exactly, so if everyone out there, any Americans listening to this, I'm living in your future. So you need to understand, never let them take an inch. Stand every inch of ground against what these people are doing. They have been put in, everyone should be aware of this. You've got a serious problem on your southern border. There's a guy out there called Michael Yon, who's a combat veteran journalist. He's actually on the southern border, and he's showing people what they're doing. What people don't know is the Jesuits and the Jews are in control of that and flooding people in, and then they're transporting them all over America. Guess what? The blueprint for doing that is here, because they've been flooding across the channel, assisted by non-government organisations, which is basically the Lifeboat Association. They're then picked up in coaches and taken to all of the areas that was the highest English national identity in the 2011 census. Because once they knew what it was, the government then give $4 billion to these companies and said, what we want you to do is start to control and operate with hotels, etc. And that's what they've been doing. So the answer is GB News is British. They would not allow me on their show. They won't allow me on that program, right? I've been banned from Twitter. Nigel Farage is Benedict Arnold II. And people need to understand that that whole group of people are British Unionists, which means they are Soviet in nature. So there's my answer in one.
Wow.
By the way, it's called eminent domain here.
Yeah. Yeah.
What she mentioned about the forcefully purchasing,
Yeah.
that is eminent domain in the US.
Yep.
That already exists.
Yep. Yeah. Our government can force you to sell your property to them, pretty much for any
price they said, even though they say it's fair market. Now let's circle back to New York. Not to say that they're related here, but circle back to New York. And who set the price of Mar-a-Lago? Who set the price of the Trump building there in New York?
Right. Yeah. It's extremely concerning when the government has that kind of power. They could literally force you out of your home, pay you what they say is fair, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Scary stuff. So let me ask, Graham, you say you're living in our future. What can the English do to stop the bleeding and reverse the damage that's been done? And what do you recommend we do here to stop from getting to the point that you guys are already at over there in England?
The simple answer is to return to the English Constitution. The American Constitution and all your rights actually come from the English Bill of Rights. The English Bill of Rights is far more important, even than a codified constitutional document. The one thing that people should remember, and I'm particularly going to tell you about Texas. I've said it on the show before. Texas is unique because in 1836, when it became an independent nation state, part of its constitution, the Texas Constitution, is they fully adopted the English common law. That's what's under attack. You've got a war between two sets of things. One is usury and non-usury, and the other is administrative law, European law, and the common law. The common law is what gives you the maximum amount of freedom. So how do you strike back? In England, it is only voting for constitutionalists and voting for English independence and voiding the Acts of Union. If you void it, all of what the British Parliament has done is null and void from that point. Or actually all the way back to 1706, 1707. So you go back to English law and customs, you go back to counties and shires. Don't forget, England originally was a confederacy, right? So people, again, in America, what can you do? Republicans are fine as long as they actually are Republicans, as long as they believe in the Constitution and the American Bill of Rights. And the American Bill of Rights is just as important. People need to understand in America, all of the time, you are voting in rhinos and voting in Democrats. You have got a serious problem because they have infiltrated every level of the separation of powers. The separation of powers is your presidency, is your Congress, and your judiciary. And they have infiltrated at every level. How do you take it back? You're in a slightly advanced position and a better position. You've already got something out there called the Electoral College, which is why it's under attack by the Democrats. You have already got something out there which is electing virtually all of your officials. The only people who are not elected are the federal government, right? Get rid of them as fast as possible and take their pensions. That's how you solve the problem.
You're talking about the basically all the agencies in the federal bureaucracy that our Congress, who's supposed to represent us and wield the power of the people, have punted much of that power to this unelected bureaucracy that uses it to and is weaponized against the people, which, in my opinion, is just so messed up and unconstitutional. But I agree. I mean, that's exactly what needs to happen. Is Congress needs to return to being actual representation of the people's will and do their jobs and legislate rather than punt that power to unelected officials that then do whatever they want because they don't have to withstand a re-election. They don't have to worry about the voter or the citizens because they basically have these lifetime positions within these agencies with no recourse from the voter.
So the benefit to Americans, and when I talk about Americans, I don't mean this disrespectfully. You are Floridians, you are Californians, you are Texans, right? You have to remember the independence of the states. And that was the crucial point of the War of Independence, which is why I loved it last year on the 4th of July in Georgia, Covington, out there, everyone's having a party, right? And they're looking at me saying, here, look, there's a Brit dancing. I said, I'm English and I'm celebrating with you. That's exactly what you should do. And you need to take it back. It was taken off you in the 1860s. And when people actually understand what went on and who's responsible for that, the American people have a reset position. You don't have to go into civil war. You don't have to do any of them things. There's two things you do. You use the ballot box, and you can back it up with a Second Amendment if you have to. But hopefully it never comes to that. But you go back to your constitutional reset, which is stripping out everything that the feds have been doing. There was a great video the other day, and it was on another channel. I'm not sure if you want me to name the channel or not. But it was an American, is it called a CRA or something to do with your tax system? And he was an agent for them. Who is it?
Probably a CPA if it's an accountant.
So he was going around, and then he started to investigate, and he now hasn't paid tax in over 20 years. And he said, I'm telling you now, as a tax official, a federal tax official who has now left the government, I am telling you now that paying income tax, forcibly paying income tax, is unlawful in the United States of America, right? And they've done everything. They took him to court and he won. The jury turned around and looked at the evidence and found him not guilty. They tried to do him for loads of things, but he was actually a federal agent for the IRS. And he investigated and said, I'm telling you now, I've used their skills, their training skills. They trained me to investigate, and I investigated what people was telling me that it's unlawful. And I didn't want to go against the American Constitution, so I investigated it, and then he put all the information out there. So what people like me and that guy said, and what many other people are saying out there about your constitution, your constitutional rights, you've got a reset position. Many countries haven't got that.
I just keep thinking the little ditty that I heard at one point. Remember the 5th of November.
Well, you can remember that for two reasons, right?
Oh, I know. I just wanted to be successful.
Well, let me tell you something. Orange Man Bad, 5th of November, has got a double meaning.
Oh, yeah,
right?
no, I understand.
And the double meaning, on the 5th of November, 1688, the Prince of Orange landed in Devon, Brixham in Devon, and we took back control of England. And on the 5th of November, 2024, you're going to take back control of the United States of America, and you're going to pray, right, to the Lord God Jesus Christ that he is on your side, right? Because if that happens and he's on your side, you're on your way to taking your country back.
I'm just trying to score some saltpeter.
Some what?
Some saltpeter.
Oh, right.
I don't get it.
The major of the three components of a certain thing that was used on the 5th of November. Now you got it.
That's a different type of salt, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And it was a different 5th of November.
Yes, I know.
Which is quite funny. Well, it was funny-ish. But yeah, again, you know, I just want it. So Will Nutt in the chat has just said Guy Fawkes was funded by the Jesuits, and he was, right? People don't understand that element of it. But when people really, you know, get their head around the Constitution, your constitutional rights, and it's not a minor thing. And the Bill of Rights, the English Bill of Rights, virtually every one of them rights is the one that you've got. There's one element that Americans got wrong, right? And that is, there's a section of the English Bill of Rights that talks about ecclesiastical law. And it says that you cannot have a spiritual court making the law and enforcing the law. It is pernicious and illegal in England, right? And it says and any court of like nature. What does that mean? It means you cannot have Sharia in the United States of America. You can have Muslims, but you cannot have Sharia as an enforced system of law in America, right? You cannot have the Talmud as an enforced system of law in America. And you cannot have Christian law as an enforced set of laws. In other words, the Church of England and the Church of England Synod cannot make law and then say, and by the way, if you don't agree with this, we're going to hang you. Or if you don't agree with this, we're going to put you in prison. That caused a lot of problems in England, and we solved them problems with the English Bill of Rights. So you can have freedom of a religion, but you cannot enforce it. That's why we got rid of blasphemy laws. You cannot enforce it. You can't enforce a religious law. Or even though we're a Christian nation.
No, it makes sense. Daddy Dragon. So I started with that video, but is there anything that you have going on over there that you want to bring up? Anything specific that you'd like to cover and steer the ship with here for the next like 10, 15 minutes?
We've got a hearing on the 26th of April for Charles Staples, where we are in the High Court in front of an actual judge in the High Court having a discussion. It's a preliminary hearing where we are taking Sir Mark Rowley, the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police London, and 4 individual police officers into the courts for torture. It's the first time anyone in this country has actually brought it forward under torture laws. So that is the first hearing. The other 2 hearings were kicked out and we're bringing them in Texas. This is the tort hearing. The other one was the criminal hearing. And we're still bringing that forward. So again, we're using the American Constitution and the state laws of Texas to bring that case in Texas, the first part of it. And if this gets kicked out, we'll bring the second part in Texas as well. So the other thing to talk about, only briefly, is the assassination, the murder of 3 veterans in the convoy in Gaza, the aid convoy, and it has now been noted in Britain that the British government have been advised that Israel is committing serious genocide and serious human rights abuses, and therefore the British government, now they've been advised, should not be arming the people committing genocide. Only a few days after that, an aid convoy has been struck, and obviously Israel also attacked Syria, an independent nation, and another independent nation's actual embassy. Whether you like them or not is immaterial. When you start doing things like that, you're literally wiping the ball clean and say, okay, so we're all in. Anyone can do anything they want, right? So when Israel did that to Syria and obviously to the Iranians, they offended against the Vienna Convention and the Geneva Convention uniquely at the same time. I don't think anyone's ever achieved that before. And they did it literally like that. Didn't care, weren't interested. But now they've just assassinated 3 veterans who were possibly acting as security for the aid convoy. They knew whose vehicles that they was targeting. They was British. And I just want to tell everyone this before I finish this mini rant on it, right? Everyone should understand how Israel come about. And it come about because they bombed the British into submission in Palestine. They murdered British troops. They literally booby-trapped the bodies of British troops in Palestine, right? And they created a terrorist state, and they have carried on doing that. Our ports in 1946 were all on alert for what? Jewish terrorists who were put into England to assassinate the Foreign Secretary, right? And they was members of a group called the Stern Gang. And people out there should understand who these people are and what they are. They do not have your best interests at heart as Americans and ours as English. And when they struck these 3 veterans. They call themselves British. I'm telling you now, Israel is a pariah terrorist state. End of.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Anyone that's been listening to this broadcast for any length of time knows I am zero love for the state of Israel. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Daddy Dragon. Could not agree with you more. I was listening to America Voice Live the other night. I think it was Greg Stinchfield. I had his show on for a few minutes, and he was coming on in defense of Israel and what you're talking about with this with these this aid and the people that were murdered, and he was trying to run defense and basically cover up for it, and I thought it was super gross the way that they do that. There's a lot of the Con Inc. media that I think is very tied in with Israel. It's like a big sacred cow. You can't criticize Israel. You can't criticize anything they do. And it's not, they always hide it under anti-Semitism. Even said, this is just anyone that has a problem with Israel, they're not, anti-Semitism is too weak. They're straight up Jew haters. And it's just, it's so disgusting that they do this, because it's the same thing the left does, is essentially, instead of having an honest debate and an exchange of ideas, you just call the people that disagree with you racist or bigoted or whatever word, and you try to win the fight like that rather than actually win on facts and ideas and things like that. And we have a serious problem in conservative media and a lot of the quote unquote independent media that is 100% in this protect Israel at all costs. You have to paint everything they do with rose colored lenses, and they can do no wrong. And if you think they did, then clearly you hate Jewish people. It's so disgusting to me. And it's a tactic we see from the left with a lot of things. And I think it really hurts the credibility of our movement when these people attach themselves to it and then play these games, whether they are honest defenders of Israel or they're just trying to score points, with certain demographics in this country. I don't know, but it makes me sick to see those kind of arguments used to kill honest debate. Go ahead, Daddy Dragon.
No, again, you've said something there about the conservatives and the so-called alternative media, right? Mm-hmm. And again, they're using, by turning on people and saying you're an anti-Semite, right? A Semite means people who come from the Levant. The people who come from the Levant are Christian, Muslim, and Jewish. So what are they actually saying? When you actually go back to that area, and the people who caused the problem was the British, right? They was bombed into submission. The Balfour Agreement, all of that can be torn up by voiding the Acts of Union. When you void it, all authority of the British is gone, right? That means that area has no longer got the authority of the British. The Palestinian mandates no longer have any authority whatsoever, right? They can't be relied on, because any international court would then turn around and say, hang on a minute, when they voided the Acts of Union, they voided that Parliament's authority to even make law. So therefore, everything they did is now void. Therefore, you've got nothing to rely on. Now, the rest of the international community can say, right, now we're going to start again with this. But just to get back to your point, because it's really important, you've just said that these people start calling you an anti-Semite, and they're supposed to be conservatives, and they're using the arguments of the left. During Brexit, we had 2 groups of people: Brexiteers and Remainers. So ones who wanted to remain in Europe, right? Like, it was the biggest lot of balls you've ever heard, right? But now that we, the English, the Scots, the Irish, and the Welsh, are saying we want independence, the British Unionists are now using the same arguments as the Remainers was using. You can't make it up. So they're using the same arguments that their enemies were using. And what we're saying the same thing as the Brexiteers have always said. We want to be independent, right? And it's just mad.
It's funny how these things flip and flop. Our mutual friend Kaiman out in South Africa, Molan Lave, he's put a good point in the chat as well. He said, let me find it again. He says 412 Productions, how many politicians hold dual citizenship? Therein lies the problem. Absolutely. I know in the United States, a good portion of our Congress has a lot of dual citizenship with Israel. Do you find that to be the case with Parliament in England and the British government? Is there a lot of dual citizenship between Israel and your government as well?
Yeah. The short answer. So there's a number of elements that have corrupted our system. The first is the level of infiltration by Jesuits, and I want people to understand when I talk about Jesuits, I'm not having a go at Catholics, because Jesuits hate liberal Catholics as much as they hate Protestants. If you go and read their oath, you'll see what I'm talking about, right? But that comes from Rome, right? That goes back to the Roman Empire, whether it be the Holy Roman Empire or other. You've got that element to it. Then you've got the Jewish part, which is the Bolsheviks, and the Zionists, which is the same side, the two different sides of a Talmudic coin. And then you've got another group of people called the Fabians. The Fabians are international, and they are at every single level everywhere. The Fabians, there's something like 400 members of parliament in the Conservative and Union Party, which is like saying the Republicans, but they're not Republicans. The Conservatives and Union Party, the Labour Party, which are the Democrats, and the Liberal Democrats, which is God knows who, right? Those three separate people, right, have all got Fabians, and they're all socialists. And it all goes back to Karl Marx. Who was Karl Marx? And then when you start to really research into it and do the deep dives, you understand that this is absolute poor ideological corruption right away through the system. So our court system is overrepresented by Jewish people. Even the footmen of the crown are Jewish, right? And then you've got members of parliament that are overrepresented. Where are the Christians and where are the English in that British Parliament? And the answer is there are none. There are no English Christians in the British Parliament. So, and again, if he's from South Africa, there is more I could say on that, because they've took control of South Africa, and it was the Fabians that did that. And again, if you look at the history of the Boer and the Boer War, who was it who backed up the Boers for their independence? Russia. So when people really understand the history of it, they start to understand where it's all coming from and who's directing it.
Absolutely. Good stuff. All right, guys, we are at 4:52. We're going to go ahead and do a little housekeeping here. We're heading towards the second half of the show. Those of you guys watching on Rumble, D Live, YouTube, Cloud Hub, Odyssey, and Twitter, please come find us over on pilled.net for the second half of the show. We'll be broadcasting exclusively there for the 5 o'clock hour. We'll be going till 6 p.m. Eastern time. I put the link in the Rumble chat. I'm putting it in the D Live chat as well. So go ahead and grab those links. Or the other option is just simply go to pilled.net. And if you're on mobile, look at the top of the screen. You'll see all the live channels, the thumbnails for them there. We are the black and gold one. That's 412 Productions. If you go on desktop, we'll be on the left-hand side of the screen with all the live channels over there. And that's where you'll find us at 412 Productions. Or again, use the link I put in the live chat, or it's in the description beneath the Rumble stream. And please come join us again for the second half. We've got another hour to go. I got lots of stuff I want to put out there. and we're going to have a fun second hour. I'm going to play a quick video. We'll come back on the other side, officially say goodbye to the other platforms, and then we will read your gold pill chat. So if you want to get your gold pill messages into the mix, do that now, and then we'll continue on. Like I said, I got a bunch of little video clips I want to play and react to in hour number 2. I think you guys are going to find some of them pretty funny and interesting. So yeah, we'll be back in 60 seconds, everybody.
Pilled.net is proud to host 412 Productions, exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pilled.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@pilled.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pilled.net. Free speech lives here.
All right, we are back. Big thank you to everybody jumping over to Pilled.net to watch the second half of the show. Again, that link, if you'd like to keep watching, is in the Rumble description, and I'll put it in the Rumble chat one more time. I know we got a lot of new viewers that aren't normally on this broadcast from England, friends of Daddy Dragon. We'd love to have you give us a follow, and love to see you over on Pilled.net. So that link, one more time, is in the live chat. It's in the Rumble description, and I hope that you guys will come over and hang out with us. If not, no worries. I will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time with our good friends Frankie Val of the Quite Frankly Show, Zach Payne of Red Pill 78 for an hour-long conversation. We call it Taking It Back. Friday, we'll wrap up the week with my OG crew. We may have Ben and Tina Garrison. I have to reach out to them and find out for sure, but that's the plan for Friday. And then Saturday morning, we'll kick off the weekend the right way, taking your calls, playing some music for the Saturday morning chat. So please come on over to Pilled.net for the second half. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you guys on the next one.